All right, let's call Johnny Campbell. What does that sound like? Do we get a message from him?
Yeah, let's get a hold of Johnny, and I think we got some good info from him. So
okay, calling Johnny Campbell. I hope. Hey, Johnny Campbell's here, live from the bivouac.
Hey.
All right, Johnny.
Hey, guys. Good to hear from you. You know, we're over here in the KSA. We're in the Hale today. We just got to the bivouac here, getting it set up, and it's going to be super fun.
Pretty big day for you guys today out in the results. We just went over, how well the Honda team's kind of gelling together. Like, talk to about the marathon stage. What's your take on that stuff?
Yeah, this year they set up this remote bivouac to where pretty rough. I mean, it's not like they tried that chrono stage thing, and I think that was a big logistic nightmare for them. But this sounds more like grassroots, kind of like getting back to the roots of Dakar, where there's one central truck with a big globe light. They're camping in the desert. MREs, they're going to eat out of a bag, sleep in the dirt. I mean, it's going to be rough, but I mean, this is Dakar. This is the way it should be.
Yeah.
So
you say that from the motorhome, right?
You know what, Quinn? Absolutely. I'm here. I got air conditioning if I want. I got a toilet. I got running water. I could take a shower.
You deserve it, right? You got it to yourself tonight too.
That's right. Finally, I don't have to sleep in my tent, and I get a motorhome. Pretty luxury.
Nice.
I think first thing we should talk about is Preston. Your son's racing his first Dakar rally. He just got the lead in the Rally 2 division today. Consistent results. Talk about how his race is going and how you see him performing out there.
Yeah, Preston's he's having a really good run. For the first Dakar, I really tried to coach him on, just riding within his ability and, his goals to get to the finish line. There's no other expectations other than to do that. And so first days kind of have to find like your flow and your groove, and you never raced here, and it's so big and so much pressure, I think, for like a first timer like Preston, who's a young racer who wants to make this a regular thing. We'll say a career or whatever. But, you get here and it's like you come into the bivouac and it's like, this is like the biggest race I've ever been to. It's like, you show up and there's just so many teams and so many vehicles and so much busyness and havoc going on in the bivouac. Noisy at night, cars running up and down, grinding, pounding, bikes getting worked on all night. And it's just all this flavor of rally, and so he's just having to take it all in and like I told him, one stage at a time. You need to go one stage at a time, minimize your mistakes, stay on two wheels, and get through this whole thing. That's the goal.
Yeah. How do you think his speed's obviously been good? He's leading the class, so he's not just out for a cruise.
No, I mean, I've watched some videos of him and stuff, and he's riding well. It seems like he's comfortable on the bike and stuff. And, I just hope and pray he could just, keep it within himself and, get this thing day by day to the finish line. But he's obviously going quick because he's had some pretty good results. I think stepping into, the Dakar here, they have that Rally 2 class is kind of helpful because then you're not plopped right down into the elite GP guys, on works bikes and stuff. And so I think his bike is good. It's, it's a limited production, CRF RX Rally. And so it's a perfect bike for him the first time. And it's safe and happy and stuff. So he's in a good spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Same for the big dad, Ricky Braybeck on the team. He's podium every day, looking really good, riding good, and the whole Honda team came together today. 1, 2, 3. Like everything seems to be gelling at the Red Camp now.
Yeah, right now, the vibe's good in the camp, and I think the riders, we did a lot of off-season work on the bikes and a lot of setup, and, Ricky's been on point for the last couple months coming into this thing. And so myself and Kendall, we really took a lot of time and spent a lot of time testing his bike and stuff. And that was huge, I think, in the mental game for Ricky, was just having us surround him and be there for him in the last couple months, getting to this race so that he was confident coming in. And so the bike's good. We made a few little tweaks to it here and there, but nothing, really nothing more than like a click here or there, or, maybe a fork tube height or something. Yeah. So I was really happy with all our testing and stuff. We came in pretty close. So
that's cool.
Yeah. But he's on point.
He's on
Ricky's back and he's hungry.
Yeah, leading overall, co-leaders, I guess you could say, with him and Tasha tied after 4 stages. What do you think about the bonus time and the way things are working out? Obviously, it's going to be a big factor, or it's been a big factor so far. What's the take on that?
Yeah, each year the rally progresses or evolves, I should say. And this year, it seems like the way that the navigation is and stuff, that the rally's pretty fast. And the guys that are being able, like, say, Tosha, Ricky, or Daniel, those guys that are veterans have been out front, seems like they can stay out front in the lead the whole way and open the trail. And so it's almost like the bonus time this time around is probably a little aggressive, meaning that it's a lot of bonus time for how technical the road book is. Mm-hmm. And so, like, you've seen a couple stages where the rider that's let out has gotten maximum bonus time. They've been able to stay up front the whole time and not drop back to where they're not being able to keep up in the front. And even Tosha, the guy, you got to hand it to him. He had a bad wreck. Yeah. I think you guys probably posted that in one of your videos I saw. And the guy got up and was able to somewhat straighten his bars and stay up in front and keep collecting bonuses, And certainly Ricky was able to catch him after that. But, guy's a warrior.
Gnarly.
But getting back to the bonus time, I think it's, maybe a little aggressive this go around, just the way we've seen things happen in the last 4 days.
Yeah. So for me watching, I feel like the car tracks have been a little bit deeper this year, like the opening car tracks in some of the dune sections and stuff. Have the guys commented about it being maybe like they ran more than one time over the stage with an opening car? Have they said anything about that?
Well, I heard that they did have to obviously go back out because about 2 weeks before the race, they had some torrential flooding and downpours. And so they had to go back out and make some modifications to the road books and actually divert around some areas because it just gotten too thrashed, places that were sand washes or like boulders, so they had to make a new track in some areas. So yeah, there's guarantee the opening car track has been out there like recently seems that way, Mm-hmm. But also too, if you want to go back in history, they've ran a couple of these stages are pretty close to these stages, either forward or backward of what we're doing this year. And so there's obviously going to be some wear and tear, and being that this terrain is a little sandier. Mm-hmm. So I'm not too surprised to see some of the grooves out there.
Yeah. Interesting.
Very interesting. On Rally 2, Martin Ventura, who was leading with the Honda team, he seemed to have a bit of an issue today. We don't have any reports on exactly what happened. Do you know anything what happened with his bike? And, he lost, I think, like hour and a half into the finish today or so.
Yeah, we heard, I haven't had any communications with the guys at the remote bivouac, but we had heard that he lost a chain guide or something, so he probably whacked a rock. Yeah. So I don't know if the chain balled up, in the engine case or what happened. I mean, these guys are running with minimal tools and things to be able to repair stuff like that. So, and I honestly don't know Martin's mechanical background either. So it makes a little bit of a different, and you got to be a MacGyver out there. So, but in the end, he did make it in, albeit he was a couple hours down. Obviously that took him out of the running for the Rally 2 division, but we'll have to see what happens now, because now they're at this remote bivouac and there's no parts, not a lot of tools. There's no service there. It's just, the rider and whatever he's carrying. Yeah. So whether he can make it the next stage tomorrow to get to us and Hale is an unknown.
Yeah. So obviously marathon stage, you guys are on Metzler's. Is that correct for tires, and KTM's on Michelin? Yeah.
Actually Ricky is the only one on, Michelin.
Okay.
The other guys are on the Metzler tire. This team doesn't really have a tire sponsor, although Metzler's, we've been trying to help develop a tire.
Got
it. But yeah, Ricky was able to choose what tire he wanted, so he chose Michelin.
Okay. Have you seen any contrast between the two tires in the last few days, like wear wise? I know I've seen a lot of Michelins that looked pretty smoked at the end of the stage. How are we doing there?
Yeah. It kind of depends on the rider. I feel, like Skylar had one of his Metzlers, takes a rough beating on day 2. And then, but generally the Metzlers are a little more durable, like durability wise, as far as like knob wear. But to be honest, we've seen about the same amount of damage to both, the Metzler and the Michelin. So I don't know that there's any any better tire. Maybe maybe one works better here, one works better there, but it really seems like the durability is really close. Although in our testing, we've had really good success with durability with the Metzler.
Okay.
It's going to be a factor today for sure, as those guys sit around the camp and stare at the tire.
So it's going to be a nail biter, I think, tomorrow to see who makes it in on their tire in Moose. It's going to be tough.
That's scary.
Yeah.
Got 417 Ks to go tomorrow, and it's going to be, I think, little under 300 is race. Or no, sorry, a little under 400 is the race.
Yeah.
And they got about 60 something of transfer. So, but we'll have to see how it plays out. It's definitely been an exciting one so far for a quarter of the way into this thing. Mm-hmm. And we'll eclipse that quarter tomorrow and move on from there.
Nice. It's been very exciting from our side to watch. It's been close racing, and the Honda team's in the fight. That's good to see two of these manufacturers battling it out. Thanks, Johnny, for chatting with us today, and enjoy your evening alone.
I will enjoy the camper and the bed and not have to pick up riders' crap, and underwear on the floor, and goggle lenses, trash, whatever. So, I get to come here and clean all that crap up before I actually, settle down in the bivouac here. But it's always nice to have a little bit of break from those guys. As much as I love them, it's just the way it is.
Nice to have a day off. Yep. Well, thanks for jumping into our world for your day off and dealing with us for a minute.
Yeah, appreciate
it, guys. Yeah, we'll talk a little later, maybe on rest day or something.
Yeah, okay, sounds good.
Sounds good, Johnny. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, have a great day, guys.
Later.
Bye.
See ya. The legend, Johnny Campbell.